Hi everyone, I'm Vone Kevitz, knit and crochet designer for one-of-a-kind makers who dare to be original. And we have one original lady here today. Her name is Chelsea Heranic from Rose and Rose. Hi Chelsea.
Hi, Vone. Nice to be here.
Oh no, I'm so glad you're here. I'm a huge fan of hers. I follow her on Instagram and she's like the life of the party, but let's get her background first before we really get into the
Life of the
topics.
party. What are you talking about, Vone?
Yes, they're the life of the party. Chelsea, tell everybody who you are.
Well, my name is Chelsea Heranic, and I am the operator, designer, maker behind Rose and Rose. And yeah, I just started out and was making things that I really liked, and people were like, "Hey, how much to buy that from you?" Or "Could you make this? Could you make this?" And I thought, I can knit and drink at the same time. Why not start a little business? So
That's how you do it. So maybe that's what I have to do for my friend to get her going.
right, a little bit, just a little glass of white wine, even if it spills on your projects, nobody will know.
How's that for a tip? White instead of red, right? How did you come up with Rose and Rose?
Funnily enough, I had been really into my knitting for about a year, just making handmade gifts. And my parents invited me out on a trip to Napa and Sonoma. And my mom and I are big wine people. We don't know a lot about it, but we know we like to drink it.
Right.
So we went out to Napa and I started just kind of talking with my parents. Do you think I should sell this stuff? There's such an amazing maker community. And I started showing them, they're like, you should totally do this.
Yeah.
So well, what would I name it? And if I'm not drinking wine, I'm usually drinking whiskey. So I started with the idea of whiskey and whips, WIPS. But my mom's like, no, people are going to think you're into like BDSM or something. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
We kept thinking, and I'm like, well, rose of knitting and rosé wine, because I love pink. Pink is my favorite color.
Yes.
And my mom's like, that's adorable. So we started playing with it, and Rose and Rosé was born in Sonoma.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love that story. Love it.
Yeah.
So how did you get started on your creative journey?
Well, it started way back when I was little. My great Grammy Kay, who I hope is going to watch this if she can figure out the link. Hi, Grammy Kay. She is 97 years young. And whenever I was little, like 5, 6, 7, she is like the OG maker. And she spins, weaves, crochets, knits. We used to go to all sorts. I'm from Pittsburgh originally. And we'd go to all these little fairs and she'd dress up in the old timey outfits and she'd do demonstrations in the sheep barns. And she got me doing that and she taught me how to knit and crochet. And I thought it was so much fun. Then I grew up and kind of just fell out of it. And I don't know, about 7 years ago, I found my knitting needles under my childhood bed. And I'm like, I know how to do this, and just started making things. And then my great grandma was savvy about the internet, and she's like, have you heard of Ravelry? And I'm like, what is this? So I went on there and found all the patterns, and I just started whipping things up. That Christmas, everybody got handmade gifts. And I found that it really helped with my anxiety. Like, I would just get into this rhythm, and it was like a meditation. And if I was feeling panicky, it just kind of calmed me down.
Yes.
So what started out as just like a handmade gift here and there, I started doing every day, just to like, and finding new patterns. It was like great, like a puzzle, keeping my brain active. And
Yes.
yeah, so that's how it started.
That's awesome. Where do you sell your stuff?
Mostly Etsy.
Mostly Etsy?
Yeah, I also Instagram. I've had some people contact me just through Instagram, like, oh, I love that top. Can I buy it? Or, you know, things like that. And then I use PayPal, or I create them like custom order on Etsy.
Right.
But yeah,
How many years have you been?
I love it.
Oh, finally, I got
I saw in your last interview, whenever you were like, I love Etsy. I'm like, me too. I love Etsy.
I'm finally hitting somebody that loves Etsy, because I'm like, usually people are like, I'm like, I love Etsy.
I'm not Amazon anymore. I'm like, I know I can find somebody out there who makes it, and I want to support like other smaller businesses like mine, and it's great.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Etsy. I love Etsy. I love being a part of Etsy. It's just,
Me too. It's happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I wanted to back up a little bit. So are you a knitter and a crocheter?
Yes, I am a knitter, a crocheter. I'm actually still a spinner. I've been there's just too much else on my plate to get into like starting my own hand spun yarns and things like that. But I love that too. Like getting in front of the TV and I'm just
maybe when you slow down a little bit, like
yeah.
when you
One day in the future.
One day when you get like, maybe I'll do some spinning just to, but right now I think you're just like way too hyper. You need to do all that complicated stuff. Speaking of complicated, you guys check out Chelsea's links are below her Instagram. There is one picture of your dress.
Isn't that
like,
okay? So
are you selling that or
design? Is it the red one or the multicolored one?
I think it's the multicolored one, but yes, that's right. You've done several dresses. I'm like,
I love big projects. I love to sit there and I'm like, you will not defeat me. This is
exactly the point I'm trying to get at. I was like, holy cracker jacks. She's making them and then she's wearing them and they're huge and they're extravagant and they're gorgeous. And I love that you just own it. Like, but so you love big projects. You just love the
I do. They don't intimidate me. I just, because, I'll get there eventually. And the one project, the multicolored one, if you go on my site, it's by Taylor of Notorious Knits, who is like a fangirl out about her all the time. She designed this dress and I got to be a pattern tester, which was the highlight of my 2018, let me tell you. And it is just awesome. I'm actually right now, like below me, I'm making another one in pink and I'm making it like, because I tested the one size and then I was like, oh, I could make this like a little more snug, a little more risque. So I'm making a pink one for myself now. And, when I finish it. There's no time constraints. But
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Is that top that you are wearing, did you make that too?
I did. So this one is with one of my favorite yarns, Katya, and it's one of her cotton blends. And then the back is just like open netting.
It's gorgeous. Oh, you could tell it's cotton, the way it's laying so beautifully.
Oh, it has such good drape. Like,
yeah, that's gorgeous. I love the colors that you picked too.
I'm a pink girl.
That's awesome. So you sell, I'm going to have to go check your Etsy shop out. I did not prep that in that. But so what do you have on that shop?
So right now I actually have a lot less than I want because I have so many, like if I opened up this closet, it's just things that I need to photograph and things that I need to feel more confident about because some of them are not patterns I found. They're my own designs. And if you haven't been able to tell, I have a little anxiety, but getting my confidence as a maker is my goal for 2019.
Yeah. I have a whole bunch in my closet right there too that I need pictures that I'm like, I can't get them on. I need to get my mama back in this house to, take some pictures and get them up in the shop and everything. I was like, because my shop
is not just making things. You need to like highlight them and get them out there. Because like I'm like, I like my stuff. I wear my stuff. And I'm like, why won't people buy my stuff sometimes? And I'm like, well, you've never posted it. That's
exactly.
That's why nobody's wearing it.
Our house is like stuffed with everything. I'm like, well, why isn't my shop selling? I'm like, well, there's only a few things in my shop. I really need to.
I am right there with you.
My inventory is huge.
I know it's there, and it's on my to-do list. But
yeah, I was like, my inventory is huge. Why is nobody buying my stuff? I was like, they don't know about my inventory.
Exactly.
How's that? Maybe let's make that our 2019 goal in there.
Right? I'm like, that's like my March, April goal. I'm gonna get it up there. I'm gonna get it done.
Yes. The spring is coming, so the sun is gonna be shining. So lots of good natural lighting ready for us. Yeah.
Well, I live in Florida. I mostly have good night. There's no excuses for me.
No excuse. Speaking of excuses, so what is your big why for pursuing your solopreneur lifestyle?
So for me, making to me, I feel like with my Grammy K, it's kind of in my blood. And she and I can just spend hours doing that. Every time I go to her house to visit her, that's just what she's doing. And it makes me so happy to be making things and sit there and know that I'm going to have a product at the end of it. But I could just sit there and make like 1,000-mile long chain. And it's just such a nice meditative process. So for me, it's because it makes me happy. And I really like, when somebody receives a handmade gift, like it means so much more to them. And my goal in the future is to actually have my own handmade wardrobe. clothing now is so cheap, and I've watched some documentaries, and it breaks your heart to know where some of the clothing comes from and what it does to people and what it does to the environment. And so I haven't really bought new clothes in a really long time, because all I sit there and think is, I could make that. I could make that. And I took a sewing class recently, so I want to incorporate some sewing into my knitwear. And I have pieces that, like, the straps have broken, and I crochet the straps now, because I'm like, I will not be done with you. And I have pieces where I like one part but not the other, cut off the top, and I've made a new top for it, like so that the bottom is like a cotton skirt and the top is a crochet top. And
oh my God.
yeah, I'm just like, there's no reason that I can't do most of this stuff myself. And my husband, who is like a frugal Frank, he is very on board with that. So
See, I just had a light bulb moment from you. I'm like, when I was younger, that's why I had dreams of being a fashion designer. I wanted to be a fashion designer, and then me and the sewing machine have a really, I love it. It does not love me. Like, we have that kind of a relationship. I'm always like, let's go. And then I sit there, I do a row or two, and it snaps, and then unplug and back into.
I never loved you anyway.
I'm like, forget you. I'll go back to my yarn and needles again.
Right, my needles will soothe me.
But I remember, like, as you said that, I'm like, when I was younger, I was like, I can crochet like edges and, beautiful things like that. And just even recently, my handbag, I posted in my handbag was the leather strap was too short. And I'm like, and I'm looking for a long strap. I'm like, I had an epiphany, and I just cut it. I'm like, I'm just cutting it. And I'm making a new strap. And I was like, and it's gorgeous, and it's perfect, and I use it every day. And I'm like, why haven't I thought to do that more? But now, as you're talking, in truth, because I'm like, we're on a budget these days, and I haven't bought clothes in so long. And I'm like, my clothes are starting to get holy. And I remember doing laundry this morning. I'm like, it's about the time to approach the hubs and like get some clothing budget into this. And I'm like, but I know it's not in our budget. So, and I was like, you just totally like
Yarn Punk. He's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, he has his own account. Crap, I didn't write his name down. Not bad, but I follow him a lot. But he started like the Yarn Punk movement, and it's like taking your clothes and yarning it out and stuff. And I've seen so many people who they're like taking the sleeves off their jackets, and they're doing all this cool things, or patching holes with beautiful crocheted appliques and stuff.
I am totally doing that. I think I'm going to revamp my closet.
Right. We can make it look so cute and use pieces that we've never done before. And there's no need to go out there.
And they'll be new all over again. But it's funny, because I've been a knit and crocheter, and the people that like online community knows me as a knit and crocheter, and but my real life, my normal life, my work life, like, some people know it, some people don't. Some people know about my shop, some people don't, you know what I mean? I'm not because I don't wear it enough. I'm like, there's really no way of me like putting that out there in my, persona. I'm like, but I love that you're wearing your top that you made. So everybody's like, did you make it? You know what I mean? They know that you're
girl, you should see when people ask me, I am like the proudest 5-year-old you ever met. They're like, oh, I really like your top. I'm like, thanks. I made it.
I want to be a proud 5-year-old.
Big smile on my
quote.
I made it.
I want to channel that back in there. I totally lost that dream somewhere,
And it's just the joy of knowing that like you're getting use out of it. And
well, I make scarves, so I wear a lot of my scarves, but I'm like, I want to make clothes, you know what I mean? And but in truth, clothing like stresses me out because it's so big, and that's why I was like jaw dropping over your dresses and everything. I'm like, my God, it's huge, and it's like full body, and that's a lot of stitches. That's a lot of rows. That's a lot of counting.
A lot of Netflixing too. Like, or time. Like, I knit by the pool, and I sit there with a cock. By the way, knit drunk frog sober is totally a thing that I have done lots of times. You sit there and you're like, this isn't my pattern. But yeah, it's good times. That's
how we learn. That's how you learn, is when you know what I mean? That's where mastery comes from, is by making and repeating and then correcting your multiple
Screwing up
mistakes.
and figuring out how to fix it.
Yes, figuring out how to fix it is what crosses you over from a beginner to an intermediate to a pro. You know what I mean? When you know how to fix your mistakes, and that's how I became a crochet master, is I've had to fix a lot of my,
Yes, totally. I'm telling you what, girl. Yes.
yeah, to the point where you're like, there's no mistake that you can't undo, and then you're like, okay, you're a master. It'll never take you down.
You
You know?
never screw up that badly. Like there's always a way to figure
There's
this
always
out.
yes. But I love the idea of doing small like implementations to your existing clothes, because then
Mhm.
that's not overwhelming to me. I'm like, that is an awesome idea. I'm totally doing that this weekend. And you stay tuned on my Instagram, because I'm going to tag you every single time.
I'm gonna hit it like, yes,
Every
girl,
single
do
time
it.
I upgrade my wardrobe with my stuff. You're going to see
Even
it.
just the straps, like you were saying, I can't tell you how many frayed purse straps that I have started. Like I just crochet. Oh, I found whose tutorial was it? Somebody had this great tutorial for, and it's like a rope. I forget the name of the stitch, but it makes such a nice crochet chain. And I've started making purses. I have like 4 purses that I'm eventually going to post. We'll see if that ever happens. But
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
great starter. Just get those straps in there.
that's awesome. Okay, so what is your making process?
Well, for me, there's not just one. Like I'm kind of all over the place. Sometimes it starts with, hey, I'd really like a top, and here's this one from the Victoria's Secret magazine. Can you make this? And I'm like, all right, let's look, and then I have to sit there and think about the yarn that I want and think about, the design for that. And I've gone that route before. Other times it's, Chelsea, I need a baby gift for, a little boy. And I just go to Ravelry and I take all the picture things that I've been wanting to make for living humans. And I send that and go that route. And I end up with happy customers both ways. And for myself personally, it's scrolling through Instagram and either saying, I love that, there's no pattern, I'm going to make it, or where is her pattern? Let me go buy it because this is fabulous. So
Yes.
it's kind of like how I get started on things. But
Right.
then once I have that idea or that pattern, I have my own my safe space in here. And I just put out I have my music that's kind of going to keep me engaged. When I'm starting out, I can't watch TV. It's got to be the music.
Yeah, I gotta
Get the
focus.
music
Yeah.
or a cocktail and just start and see if after an hour I don't love it, take it apart, start over.
I love that. Oh, that's a good one. Do you have any tips for newbie makers?
So I was thinking about this because I'm like, sometimes I feel like I'm a newbie maker myself, like at times. But my biggest one is something that I'm doing today is get out of your comfort zone. So if you are just comfortable making your little square dishcloths, jump into something that you've been wanting to make, even if you don't know the stitches, even if you don't know anything about what you're doing. There's so many amazing YouTube tutorials. The maker community is so fabulous. I've sent messages before like, what stitch is this? And they're so nice. Like the girls out there. Oh my God. Katrina of Nina Bella Knits and Taylor of Notorious Knits. They're just amazing people that you can just talk to about your knitting, and they have no qualms letting you pick their brain about things.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah, just jump in and do stuff that scares you, because the worst that can happen is you frog and you're fine.
Yes, exactly. That's a great tip. And in this day and age, with the internet, with Google and YouTube, there's nothing in this world, you know what I mean, that we can't learn, that we can't do, that's not already free on the internet. There's nothing, you know what I mean?
And Moogly, if you are a new maker and you're watching this and you're like, I don't know how to do this stitch, I probably go to the Moogly blog all the time because they're quick. It's not like you have to wait 30 minutes until you get to the actual stitch you're looking for. Yeah. She does them quick. She has great videos.
Awesome. Great tips. Do you have any habits and rituals that you do daily?
I do just somehow make daily. So knitting and crocheting. And for me, again, it's for my anxiety. I get up very early because I teach online. I teach kids in China English. So I'm up at like 4 a.m. So generally when I finish, I'm kind of peopled out for a little bit from the energy of little tiny humans and keeping them entertained. I love them. But afterwards, I sit there with my coffee and I knit for about an hour, and then I get out. I'm a big to-do list person. I write everything down that I want to get done. If I don't get it done and check it off, that's okay. It just goes on to tomorrow's
Right.
list. But my to-do lists are key, and it just kind of keeps me accountable for a lot of things. And you can also notice, like, wow, this has been on my to-do list for 4 weeks. Maybe I should like move it to the top instead of because generally the things that I push off are the things that I'm nervous about. Like posting things that it's been at the bottom, like just post these things. I'm like, oh, tomorrow.
I'm the
I'll
same
get
way.
there eventually, I promise.
I have a Franklin Covey planner that I learned to list everything out, and then there's an arrow, that you move to the next day, you check off, or you cross off. Rarely do I cross anything off. Half the time it's always arrow to the next day, arrow to the next day. You'd think that at some point I'd be tired of writing that same thing.
But how accomplished do you feel when you get that line across? I'm like, awesome. Like it can be like do the laundry, and I'm like,
oh,
like
I checked off fold and put away clothes already. I was like, that was awesome.
I'm an amazing person. Check.
Yes. That's awesome. So I got a little bit of what you just said. So how do you invest in yourself?
Oh, that's a tough one for me. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about with that actually. So I have decided, I started a blog recently, and it's called Knitting Tipsy, because I often do that. And the reason that I started a blog was not because I'm like, everybody needs to hear what I want to say, but I did a webinar, and it was with Brittany from idealme.com. And she always has these great like crochet packages, and sometimes they come with webinars. And this one had Emily of Hooked Hazel and herself, and they were talking about how a blog can really help. And a lot of the steps that they're saying to do are still on my to-do list, don't get me wrong. But just having it as another way to kind of bring in people, and, not everybody's going to like my style. Not everybody's going to like, my personality. But those people that do, it kind of like hooks them in a little bit more and think, oh, well, maybe you'll get some followers at it. Maybe you'll get more people who want to view your stuff. And I got to start a Pinterest board that's on here too, but we'll get there. So investing in myself that way is, again, getting out of my comfort zone and starting a blog and actually putting in the work to have a Pinterest page and doing those things to try to really, because I like making. I don't always like the business stuff, but I like.
I'm surprised you're not on Pinterest, because Pinterest is just like Instagram.
Personally, girl, yes. Oh my gosh, yes. And I got knitting and things, but like for Rose and Rose, I haven't started one for that yet. And I'd rather people follow that, because they don't always need to see my Eeyore quotes about how life is going to be okay.
Well, as you build for Pinterest, as you take pictures of what's in behind you, once you have that collection, Pinterest will come very easily. Because with Instagram you share your life, and you share you, but you want your you want your pins to be about your product. So once you get your products pictured, I think your boards will be, they'll speak for themselves. They'll be like on autopilot.
Tails in them, I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah, they'll be on autopilot. So that'll come easily. But I did hear when you said the reason why I said I already heard it in your interview, how you invest in yourself, because you just said you recently took a sewing class because you want to take. So you are a big class taker. Like I love that. I'm a constant student.
At heart, I got a master's degree basically for the fact that I just like being in school and I love learning things. And yeah, I totally classes online and things that are kind of cheaper, free.
Hey guys, we're back. So we had to my internet dropped, so I apologize. So we'll
able to
hopefully
my cocktail. You're fine.
Oh, look at that. See, that's editing.
That's glasses half full positivity for you right there.
If you remember in the middle of the video, you saw what was happening with that glass.
Yeah, it was very slowly decreasing, or maybe quickly decreasing.
And then so I was like, I never saw my internet pause that long. But so now we're back. I want to finish back out because we were right at the end. So I was like, it's funny, when I was a younger, I was a straight A student, so, my whole life. And then I graduated and then was done. But I remember school being like, I did it because I wanted to be good, like, please my parents, please, you know what I mean? I'm a people pleaser. But I never like took education, as
Oh,
like, I was
I
never
was
excited about
a very
education.
person. I loved it. I
Yeah.
was a language major, and
Like,
if they would have laid all the classes, I would have. It
mhm.
was, yeah, I loved school.
I just did it because I had to, and I did it great because I had to.
Yeah, you're like,
But
it's
when I was done, it was funny, as I got older and I'm done with school and I'm working, and now, with opening an Etsy shop and everything, and then having to learn, I was like, I knew, like, the fastest way you're gonna do anything is, I'm not somebody that's blindly gonna. I have to, we seek mentors, we seek people that because might as well do what they've done and then do it
yeah.
better and
Don't
faster
reinvent the
in your
wheel.
own
Don't
version. Yeah,
reinvent it.
why
Find something.
ever reinvent the wheel? So that's when I'm like, now all of a sudden, because maybe now it's a necessity of mine and not something we had to do when you have to go to school, because every adult tells you have to go to school,
Yeah.
and now as an adult, all I keep doing is going back to school.
Right? It's like, now I just want to take all the classes. Same thing. Like,
Yes.
you didn't want naps when you were younger. Now you want naps. We learned.
Like,
We learned.
you're right. That's a very good point about that too. We did not want naps back then, and now I'm like, if I can get a nap in,
2 p.m. Please,
I'm
20
golden.
minutes, please.
I'm golden if I can get a nap in. That's so funny. But yes, that's a very good point. Yeah, so even like if classes are like too expensive, I love signing up for webinars just because I know I'm going to pick up 2 or 3 tips from them. That's worth my hour. You know what I mean? Like, so it's totally worth my hour to pick up 1 or 2 tips and not have to pay anything,
Oh,
It's
it's so
great.
nice. And there's like really cheap. I found a Etsy class that is still in my queue to take, but I watched like the first 2 sections of it, and it was great. And I'm like, oh, so I can like actually figure out more about Etsy and try to like really improve myself. And it was like $9.99 for 20 hours of classes. And I'm like, worth it, solid. I'll just knit and listen.
Solid, yes. Yes. I'm like, there's a bunch of free stuff, and then you could take the longer road of free when you're trying to find it. But if they have it condensed for you for like under 10 bucks
Great.
for 2 cups of coffee, go. There's no
Exactly.
reason to. Oh, that's awesome. Chelsea, I had a blast. I had an absolute blast. I'm so glad that you
I
had
had
a
so much
blast.
fun. I'm so glad that I did this. There were a few times that I was like, maybe I'll just tell her I'm busy. But no, I'm glad I did this. This was wonderful.
It's funny because I'm an introvert. I'm like meeting new people, especially this year. I've approached a lot of new people that, some of them I've never even spoke with. Some of them that aren't on in the Dare to Be Original Facebook group. So some of them I've never even known, like they're complete strangers. Chelsea and I have known each other. I've been following her through the Dare to Be Original Facebook group. So I knew of her, but I've never known her. So I feel like every time I've been making these things, I get the same anxieties of like, oh, do I want to do this? Where's my migraine, But every time
the
I do,
rewards are wonderful.
every time I do, I'm always so like relieved and so, you know what I mean? And love learning and meeting new people because we're all like-minded and not even just like-minded, but I love learning and, I've never regretted one interview, never regretted one, contact that I've made, and everybody leaves such an impression on my heart that I had an epiphany last week, you know what I mean? And you haven't seen her interview. Well, maybe you will see her interview with Fuzzy Felties. She'll be right before yours, so it'll make sense, but we're like months down the line from when we're recording this moment, so it's going to sound weird, but I just had an epiphany meeting her and like loving that interview that I was like, there has never been a bad interview. There's never been a bad hour that I've sat and met somebody new and learned something with. So I was like, I'm no longer gonna have anxieties over this.
Oh, that is, I mean, you learn so much, like even people that maybe you don't necessarily click with, there's always something to learn from somebody.
Always something to learn.
Community, it would be really hard not to find somebody that you really kind of jive with. Like,
absolutely. Even like And now this year, because I've really stepped out of my comfort zone, because I've approached strangers, full-on strangers that I've never even met, that
Girl,
I'm
you are my
finding
hero. You are
that
so
I'm
brave.
finding just accounts that I'm like, ooh, I like what you're doing. Will you, you know what I mean? I'm just like, will you come on my little YouTube channel and talk to and show ordinary women what, you know what I mean, doing extraordinary things look like? And that's what these shows are, you know what I mean? They're ordinary women doing extraordinary things. And I just like, yeah, so after last week, I just had an epiphany that I'm like, every single one of these I'm looking forward to. I no longer have that anxiety, you know? So I'm hoping that by
Awesome.
doing this, everybody, you know what I mean, approaching you, that, you know, that you're just going to go, because your personality is just, you are as bubbly
Aw.
as your rosé.
As my champagne that I'm currently drinking.
Yes, you are just as bubbly.
Aw,
And just from this
thank
hour,
you.
I'm going to my wardrobe. I'm going to my closet, and I'm gonna
Get
pick out some
in there
stuff.
and start
I'm going.
masterpiecing.
I'm going. I'm so excited. So by the time I'm done, like, everybody at work is gonna be like, "Did you get new clothes?" I'm like, they're gonna all know.
No,
Everybody.
5-year-old. I made it.
Mhm. I made it. Yeah, I want to be that proud 5-year-old. That is my goal for the weekend. Chelsea, thank you so much. Everybody follow her on all Instagram and her Etsy shop. All of her links are below. And give a comment. Go reach out to her. Go like those dresses that she's making. Yeah, send her a DM. Like this video. Share. Subscribe.
Vone is amazing.
You guys know all the rest. And I will see you next week. Thank you. God bless. Bye.